I wish I knew how to quit you.
Then why don't you?
You're listening to Codependent Content, the podcast where we discuss the TV shows, movies, books, and video games in which we share an unhealthy relationship.
We're all in this cell because we can't be kids anymore. But they won't let us be adults.
We're all ghosts.
What do ghosts do?
They haunt houses.
All this time, we've been afraid of them. But I think they should be afraid of us.
My name is Mattias. Join us as we try to unravel the characters, stories, and worlds that we are entangled with. Because just when we think we're done with content, it draws us back in.
Okay, welcome back to a special episode of Codependent Content. My name is Mattias Merisigan, as always, and today I'm joined by someone new. Want to go and introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Vic Rincon. Where do I go from there?
No, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Vic is, they have their own podcast that they did. We actually met as podcast peers, I suppose.
Yeah.
And yeah, we are living in the same city and we decided to do our own podcast. And today we're going to be talking about Alien Earth. This is going to be a different kind of episode than we normally do. Not sure how it's going to go. Typically we do, if I can, like a week by week, like deep dive of stuff. Obviously, as you notice, we're in a little bit of a different space too, I should mention. I'm moving and we're testing a kind of this newish setup as best as we can. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but this is also better than nothing.
Yeah,
right?
it's working.
You don't really care about the visuals anyway. You're here for a podcast.
Exactly.
And so these chairs are different. So we're a little bit more loungy, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's very casual.
It's a very different thing. And with those differences, we're also going to be doing kind of more of like a season recap.
Yeah.
We'll talk about everything. So just be forewarned, we're going to be covering the entire season. So if you haven't watched all of Alien Earth, or if you're behind on it for any reason, you should probably go watch that, catch up on it before we talk about anything, because we do spoilers here. As much as we try not to spoil everything right up front, we will eventually get into spoiler territory, and you're going to hear everything, right?
Right.
So that's your warning, your official warning for everything. But yeah, I guess one of the things when Alien Earth came out, we did talk about on the podcast, like what I think we kind of did a ranking of the Alien.
Yeah, I saw your guys'
movies.
Yeah.
And a little bit of insight into how we feel about the Alien franchise as a whole, you know? So what is your experience with Alien franchise in terms of, I guess if you could do a quick ranking.
Right. Yeah. So the first movie, by far my favorite. I've seen it too many times to count. I've seen it in theaters. Obviously not in 1979, but like it's just good, solid sci-fi with just such a good story of watching professionals kind of slowly unravel in an emotionally charged environment where their lives are in danger. So that's by far my favorite and my top. Interesting little tidbit though. For years I was like, oh, Aliens isn't that good. And I was like, but hold on, I was mistaken.
Was this like when you were a kid though, or something?
It was like teenager, early, like young adult. And I was like, I don't know, it just doesn't hold my attention. And everyone's like, oh, Aliens is like amazing. And I'm like, I don't know. And then everyone's like, Alien 3 sucks. I'm like, well, I'm not even going to bother with that one then, because, Aliens wasn't great. And then I realized I had mistaken Alien 3 for Aliens.
Oh.
And so I finally watched Aliens when I was like 19 or 20. And I'm like, wow, this is fantastic. I can't believe I went this long without watching this. I think I watched it. It might have been when I was like 20, like right after Prometheus came out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was like, I was just had this gaping hole in my Alien verse for so long, and I'm like, why did I miss this?
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, Aliens is probably like where I'd put second. Aliens. Honestly, maybe an unpopular opinion, but I would put Alien Isolation after that, even though it's not a movie.
Okay.
The
game.
The game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, love the game. I'm trying to think. I would probably put Romulus after that. Although I really liked everything, like I was saying the other day when we were talking. Like, I like the aesthetic. I like how much care the director had on like pulling all these little homages and stuff. But the last 20 minutes, I wasn't into at all. Like in the
That was my favorite part.
Yeah, so yes, we're just on opposite.
I think
ends of
mostly
the
because it was
spectrum
the
there.
only thing that was different for me.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah. I remember
otherwise,
you
it's
saying
just
that.
everything is the same.
Yeah.
And it felt like nostalgia
True.
stuff. And I was like, okay, oh, it's just Alien again, but with teenagers.
It was
and I'm like,
right.
So I was like, at least this was weirdly different.
Yeah,
You know?
I really like the first act of Romulus, where it kind of built out like just the whole Wayland-Yutani universe a little more on just how much they like are this late stage capitalist empire that's kind of enslaving like the civilian population.
Yeah.
So I really like that aspect of it. I've honestly never seen any of the Alien versus Predator movies. I don't really.
We didn't really worry about that.
I don't care about them. Like, yeah, not into that.
Here at Codependent Content, we believe that they are superior to anything else.
Okay.
But then once we start including those, then you have to start including any Predator movies.
Yeah, exactly. And then
it's
it's a whole other topic completely. It doesn't count. I would say after Romulus, probably, I guess Prometheus would be the next in line, right?
Sure.
Because it's Prometheus, and then what was that other bad one? Covenant.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
I enjoyed both of those.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so the thing is, I love like the style of Prometheus. I watched it a lot when it came out. I think I saw it 4 times in theaters. I really like the cinematography. David is a fantastic character, actually, in my opinion. I really like what they did with like the whole synth storyline with him. The birthing scene in Prometheus is probably like one of the like most like shocking scenes in the whole Alien franchise.
Yeah.
I think
Ridley Scott still got it.
Yeah, he still got it. It's just there were definitely like a few plot holes and things, and just I don't know. It fell a little short in some areas, I think, but Covenant I didn't enjoy much, honestly. So I guess that would be my ranking. So I guess it almost good. Yeah, it's a little shuffled order.
3 and Resurrections, don't even worry about them.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Resurrection.
Yeah, we did too. In fact, when we ranked things, and literally 0 people said anything about this online.
Yeah.
When we ranked things, I think I included Alien 3 and Resurrections as one movie, not knowing that there were 2 different movies.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't really seen them.
Oh, okay. Which one was the one where Sigourney Weaver did the basketball toss? Was that 3?
I think that was 3, and then Resurrections was David Fincher.
Right.
Doing his first,
That was like one of his first big movies, wasn't it?
So
I mean, 3 gets like a tiny point just for
the fact that she did that one shot.
Yeah.
And then Ron Perlman almost ruined the take.
Yeah.
It's a fun little moment.
I guess I'd rank 3 in Resurrection below Covenant.
Okay.
Yeah.
I give some points to Covenant then.
yeah. Because Covenant, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just remember where like was that scene where like something got loose and then that girl like slipped on blood and like accidentally shot someone or something. Am I remembering that right? I only saw it one time in theaters.
There's a lot of like kind of stupidity that happens.
Yeah.
Which I can't really, but which is fun because I almost like it. Because of the stupidity.
Yeah, I get
because
that.
I really think that Ridley Scott's trying to show how stupid humans are compared to like David.
Compared to the
and it's like, I don't know. It's kind of ham-fisted, but it is.
Yeah.
They do.
I also hated to see what happened to what's her name? Shaw.
That didn't.
I think was that a deleted scene? Or was that in the movie? I honestly
there was like
can't
a
remember.
small thing, I think, in the movie, and there might have been like a deleted scene.
I think there was a deleted scene.
And there was like a short or something that might have like delved more into. It was like and there might have been some scenes that were cut, but there was there was a mention of her. Basically, she was nowhere, right?
Yeah.
So it is a little frustrating to have survived with her and David, and then
Just to see that's what happened.
have that change. But that's also like what happens. Like I'm currently watching Yellowstone finally. I'm catching up on Yellowstone.
Okay.
I hadn't watched the last part of season 5, and this is the one. This is the season where Kevin Costner went off and did Horizon, which I loved.
Yeah.
And we still haven't seen the second movie. We're probably not going to get the 4-part Horizon megaplex, which is really annoying. I actually really liked it. But anyway, he went off to do his passion project. And so they're trying really hard to like ham-fist like what happened to him and like make him, because he's a huge part of the series and he's no longer part of it. So they essentially killed him off. Spoilers, I guess. But I won't say how or what happens, but I mean, he just didn't come back. And I think that's the thing with Covenant is whether it's scheduling conflicts or creative differences or probably mostly just not an ability to like to make it work scheduling wise, that they decided to just kind of like cut her out. Again, I know there's some scenes or maybe a deleted scene or something they did beforehand with her, and I think maybe they just couldn't or maybe she didn't want to come back. I don't know. And it seems like one of those things where like I guess at the end of the day is like what can you do, right? So it's unfortunate that we can't have that story, but
because I would have liked to. I think I would have been more invested if it was like Prometheus, some like follow up to her journey or something.
Yeah, I think if Prometheus were more well received, it would have been easier. They would have really tried hard to like get her, and because it felt like Covenant almost needed to be, because of the criticisms of Prometheus, Covenant did a lot of things to like right those wrongs, and like they're like, okay, you want an alien? Here's an alien, you know, like and or a xenomorph, I should say. So and trying to actually like make it an origin of things, and there might have even been like a third movie that was possibly going to be in the works. I would have really liked to see.
And then it just never came to fruition.
I don't think that. Yeah, I just don't know that it really. It's not what Ridley Scott wanted to do with Covenant, and I think that shows in how it is. And then of course it was ill received for me.
He just really wanted to do Gladiator too.
I think Michael Fassbender and David and Walter and all of those kind of things, the stuff that he was actually interested in telling. Yeah, and especially like. I love the engineers, and I think it's we can talk about it more with Alien Earth,
right?
But I think what's interesting is like we're finding out how much like Earth is aware of, Weyland-Yutani and Prodigy and other companies are aware of alien life exists.
Yeah, right.
And if we know alien life exists, then what else? Like, then where's the intelligent life? You know, where's the other stuff? You know,
right?
And so the engineers in that sense are really interesting, and because of that, because now that we are aware, we should be going out and like seeking them out and having these conversations and doing that kind of stuff. And I feel like Ridley Scott wanted to delve into those things.
It sounded like it, like this
and
concept.
Maybe we can delve more into that there, but everyone's just interested in like the xenomorph for whatever reason, because it's the Alien franchise, and I get it, but this is why I like Alien Earth, and start getting into that is because it's, for me, Alien Earth is less of an alien movie or show,
which is what I like too. It builds the universe.
Yeah, it's more exploring like the world building of different things, you know, and what this world and this universe actually looks like. And the alien just happens to be a part of it.
It
you
is,
know,
yeah.
It introduces a lot of new things, and I wish, because I mean, yeah, like that's gotta throw a lot of people for a loop to find out that alien life exists. I think Alien originally was like, it was happenstance. They were truckers that happened to find a thing, right?
Yeah.
And you find a space jockey, and what the fuck is a space jockey, and all these kind of things, and so there's other people out here, and you would think, and the fact that we only care about capitalism and we're not like furthering like humans, like, okay, well, how do we become that? How do we do that? How do we get there? And that's what makes Alien Earth so fascinating.
It is.
So why don't we get into our, I don't know yet if you've been watching the podcast, but the new thing is to salute to general thoughts.
Oh, okay.
As we talk about Alien Earth.
I've still been, I've had to like scroll past them for now because, like I said, I'm catching up on Foundation and I got to avoid those spoilers.
Yes,
so.
absolutely. It's just a thing that I realized that is one of my favorite bits from How I Met Your Mother. And so decided to bring that back. Okay, so yes, general thoughts on Alien Earth. Why don't you tell me what you think about the season as a whole and how it fits into the whole canon for
far,
you?
so good. Because remind me real quick, what year is this one taking place? It's before.
So it takes place. I don't know. I don't remember the exact year, unfortunately.
Right.
I could look it up, but I know it's 2 years before the first movie.
Okay. So that helps. Yeah, and that makes sense. So far, so good. Like, I really like the world building because I think the thing that the Alien franchise kind of falls into a pattern with too much is just kind of like people on ship, people stumble across alien, alien kills people, one person makes it. And so this kind of like diverts that a little bit. And it's still set in the same universe, obviously, but it's like building out other aspects of the world. Like, one thing I liked about the Alien Isolation game was like the synths were almost a little more scary than the alien at times. And I think synths alone are such a cool concept to build out. So like, it's really cool that they're like trying to also kind of like make the hybrid synth human people too. Yeah. And I think that's such a cool concept to explore. Also, philosophically, it's like, are they actually the children or are they just echoes of the children? You know, like, are they just a copy? And I think that's kind of like, I think that honestly might be something we deal with in the future, that where sci-fi becomes reality, where it's like, is life extension even possible? What is actually you? That kind of concept. So I love that they're exploring that concept because they do like actually acknowledge that several times throughout the season, where it's like, is it really Joe's sister or is it just like, you know, all of her memories in a robot? So I really like that concept, and I love the world building, like having Prodigy included. It's cool to see. It's like there's not really countries that exist anymore. It's just continents with these mega corporations that own each continent. So that's really interesting. I like how they built that out, how it's like, it's just like the ultimate late stage capitalism where nothing really exists anymore except these.
Which feels like we're going that direction almost.
It does. So it just felt a little too real and close to home in some kind of way. Just with the way things have been like the last decade. So yeah, and to see, I don't know, the boy Cavalier character is quite interesting and annoying all at the same time, where it's like, how did he end up with all of that? And you kind of see it. It's like, it's almost like he's really, like, he's obviously a genius in one way, but then he thinks that translates to every other aspect of his intelligence, when in reality he's just like spoiled, I think, in a lot of ways, and has a dangerous ego on him that's gonna ultimately be his downfall. And I wonder where we've seen that before. So yeah, we're more world building, definitely diving more into like, we're getting away from the Weyland-Yutani a little bit, and exploring like what other people are doing, because Weyland-Yutani is just one of 5 corporations that are in control, right? The big 5, I guess, as they say, right? Real interesting stuff. I do love. Are you familiar with Fargo? I'm not. I'm actually not the show. No.
Okay, yeah. Or Legion.
Legion. Okay, so I have seen season 1 of Legion.
Yeah.
Really loved it.
Yeah.
Like, I actually didn't watch the second season, maybe like an episode or two, but season 1 I thought was fantastic. Yeah. It's just trippy and like there's no other I guess it's technically Marvel. Like, there's no other. It
is, right, yeah.
But it doesn't even feel like Marvel or like a superhero show.
Well, that was at the time before where it was like, because Legion is X-Men, right? Or,
it's X-Men.
It's they didn't really own, FX owned, I guess, or Fox as a subsidiary owned the X-Men at that point. So it wasn't technically like Marvel, but it was.
No, it was so much its own thing. Aubrey Plaza was incredible in it. yeah, just a great show. So when I found out he was attached to Alien Earth, I was like, oh, this might actually be like really cool.
Yeah, the thing is, I remember starting Legion. I didn't really get too far into it. I remember I never watched Fargo. I've never even watched the movie. I'm just not.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I don't know how Noah Hawley is. I know he's done some weird, good stuff. I know people really love him. He's really good with ensemble casts in terms of Fargo, and I've heard good things about it. I'm just unfamiliar with his work, but I am definitely. So going into it, I was unsure how those would be, but I think like even from the very beginning of Alien Earth, there's like a vibe and a tone and a feeling to it. That from that opening scene that felt like old and new.
That's what he's so good at too. Yeah,
where he's establishing this world, and it feels like, okay, I'm back in the alien world. I know where I'm at, kind of thing, you know. And then immediately brings you into some place like new, right? And he kind of combines those things very, very well.
He does.
I think whatever's, I don't know if this is what's coming over from his other shows, but I think that he's doing a tremendous job in making us feel like we're at least in this world. Yeah, in the world that we're familiar with in terms of Alien and all that kind of stuff. Right?
He's good at that balance where, like you said, old world and new. Like I think he takes some liberties with it being Prodigy versus Weyland-Yutani from like a production design standpoint, where it's like Weyland-Yutani is very like analog, like old analog sci-fi. I'm forgetting the name for the specific genre at the moment, but. Whereas
cyberpunk?
It's not cyberpunk. It's like it's something where everything is still analog and there's no.
Sure, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about. I wish I could remember it. Whereas I think they take a little liberties where Prodigy might have like a slightly different technological structure to it, and so they kind of like take those liberties. I think visually and like change things around a little bit so it feels more modern. I think in some ways like Prodigy might be a little more technologically advanced than Weyland-Yutani.
It depends. I still have questions about Prodigy, like as a whole, I guess, and what exactly they do, because it's very interesting. And speaking of which, Prodigy is. They're the main ones that we get. First of all, this opening kind of scrawl that talks about like the 3 different types of like human things. So from the outset, if that should tell you anything, like this isn't going to be just another alien thing, which I loved. We get introduced to these hybrids, and Prodigy is specifically focused on basically putting a human brain into a synthetic body, right? And I guess in that sense, immortality, you know, which is different from a full synth, which is AI.
Right.
And then, which we have seen in Blade Runner, Blade Runner and Alien. And which we'll get to the Blade Runner, because I think this is more in line with Blade Runner. We talked about this, and then you got cyborgs.
Right.
Or I guess you could say androids, very much similar thing. They're like humans that have been augmented, you know, which is already a form of hybrid. Is already going that, but I don't think we've had cyborgs either. No, in the Alien franchise that I'm aware of.
No.
Even if we've had some sort of augmented humans, they weren't like consider and not. I don't think I recall them being in this way.
No, I think Morrow is like the first real like half and half kind of like human brain, super augmented body kind of situation.
So Prodigy's introducing this idea of hybrids, and it's probably not a new idea. Other companies have probably tried to explore this. Yeah. But Prodigy has possibly successfully done it from the very first episode.
Yeah.
Which I find that very interesting. And to use Prodigy in that way, Noah is allowing us to be like in canon, but also parallel to canon, not have to like worry too much about it. And then I find the questions that are going on there and the hybrid thing very, very fascinating.
Right.
I love the idea of what is your real self. I mean, it already goes with the cyborg thing. Like, how much can you replace yourself before you're no longer yourself? Right. That's the Theseus ship kind of analogy. And even here, like this is a whole new body for these kids. And the idea of using children, I have qualms with. But I do understand like the reasoning being because they're more the brain is more malleable and stuff, and that makes perfect sense. I love the questions that they're raising. I love like exploring that, and I love that this fits this wholly into like a different type of thing, right?
Yeah.
And this is what the show kind of wants to explore, and I love these questions.
Yeah.
That said, how do you feel about these hybrids in general? Because I have some thoughts.
Yeah, it can be like, it's interesting, I guess. Like, I think it makes sense. Like you said, it makes sense. I think it also, the fact that they're children makes them more unmanageable. I mean, why would you give a 6-year-old or an 8-year-old superhuman strength? Like, that's just asking for trouble. I think maybe it can come across as a little cringy at times, maybe, if that's kind of what you're thinking, like in terms of like how it comes across from like a story standpoint. But I think that's also like what they're trying to do. That's like the point. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of along for the ride on that one, and like kind of like seeing where they take it.
Yeah.
Like you have like, I think Wendy has been a pretty interesting character where she's thrust into this role where she's trying to grow up really fast and be a leader for the group. But I mean, she still makes some pretty terrible decisions throughout the season.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, that's I'm just kind of trying to sit back and trust what they're doing with it, I guess, at this point. Yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents.
Yeah. I think that I like what they ended up doing with it. I think initially when I first saw children going into adult bodies, so to speak, because they're still kind of young, they're kids, right?
Yeah,
they're
I think they're all like
at least compared
under
to
10.
me, you know. Well, I mean,
Except for Wendy.
no, the adult bodies though, like are still like young-ish. Like I would still consider them.
Oh yeah,
they're not like late 20s, 30s.
No, they're
not
like
full-grown adults. They're still
like
somewhat
early.
developing, like almost like 19, 20.
Yeah, they all seem like 20s.
Yeah, they don't feel. No one feels over 21.
No, I wouldn't.
Which
say
it
so.
might be, which I'm sure the actors are, but they still feel. They still look like children.
They
to
do.
me.
Yeah, they're very young adults.
That said, they're adult bodies, and the moment you start doing that, it gives me a pause because I don't want to see. I was worried about the "born sexy yesterday" trope, which I really hate. You know, putting like a childish mind into like a fully adult body, and then having them deal with like adult things, I think is not great.
It's
for
uncomfy,
me, you know. And here they kind of do that, but they also allow the actors to just be children, and they don't like fall into the tropes that they normally do, which
can be really questionable.
That said, now we're also talking about like there's a reason why they say don't work with children or animals, and it's not just because children can be unruly or that they can only be on set for so many times a day. Now we have adults who's like, they can be there as much as they want, and they're not actually children, so you can actually work with them, right?
Right.
But beyond that, writing children is super difficult, and I don't think anyone does it right. So that's my own personal opinion, and you typically end up with precocious kids or children who say things and act like adults already. Whenever you're writing kids, typically, and I'm like, that's not how kids talk. That's not how the kids like literally know it. Like I know if I was that age, just I would not be.
It's a big
caring
gamble.
about any of this kind of stuff, right? I feel like the actors are doing a good enough job to potentially play children, and I think Smee specifically does a really good job of playing the boyish kind of guy who doesn't want to grow up, you know?
Yeah.
But interesting that he's not named after one of the Lost Boys, but he's named after Smee.
I know. That's interesting.
And I think he does a great job, and I think the other actors do a fine time dealing with this idea, but at the same time, I don't think they're still not written like children.
Not quite. I think a couple
still
of them
fails
are good at
on
it.
that kind of aspect, and they put some elements in there, but I just don't think it works overall to convince me that these are children.
Yeah.
And which is just unfortunate, and I wish they hadn't done that.
Yeah.
You know, just make them young adults or whatever. It also, there's also like it's so many. I mean, this might be more adult conversations, but this is, I guess, more something that you'd see in maybe something like Love, Death, Robots or whatever. But in a different franchise, the moment you put these kids are like, there's a crash course in like growing up, right? But their bodies change. They essentially go through like puberty really quickly without the puberty aspect, right?
Yeah.
And so you're in these bodies that are not your own. And I mean, a child is going to be curious. Anyone's going to be curious. I think there's so many more questions and so many aspects of just being in a new body that's not your own that would be like so confusing and traumatic for a child.
Right.
Really, like in so many different ways. And it's already hard enough we could consider going through puberty and growing up like as a form of trauma in general, just normally, and we do that like a lot more slowly than these kids have to go through it, right? To suddenly be thrust into like a human body, and then almost immediately the next episode they're going out on a mission. I know it's been like time has passed, but we kind of skipped over like some major issues that would happen with this kind of thing. So unfortunately, those are the kind of things that I'm like, this is weird. This is weird. Like I have to suspend my disbelief and I get beyond it. And I'm like, okay, these are children. These are adults pretending to be children in actors. And I'm like, let me just take it for what it is.
Yeah.
And so I kind of do love the idea that they do raise, as you brought up earlier, that are they themselves, or are they something new? Do they really have those memories or whatever? And I'm that kind of at least makes it a little bit easier because there's some questions that they are dealing with, some confusion. Nibs does a really good job of like going through like the pregnancy thing and also and like the pretend that she's doing and like she's losing her mind. Curly, there's like a lot of like things that are like showing me like how like, oh yeah, this is gonna make someone go insane. Yeah, but as well as introduce the idea that maybe they aren't children anymore. You know, like maybe they really aren't. I want them to be I still want them to be the kids, but I don't. But at the same time, like, okay, there's a lot of questions that they're raising and a lot of things that they are doing that at least helps to ease my own problems with it. Right. So I'm allowed, I'm forgiving it for a little bit, you know, I'm allowed to go through. One of the things that is fascinating to me, but I don't think we'll ever get this, but like the moment you put your brain into like they say like Wendy has like a supercomputer for a brain, basically. Right. And, she can access like so many different things. And like at that point, can you access literally any memory that you have? Like, why is this a question? I would imagine
that it's like
because recall would be amazing. Yeah. Right. Like things that you thought you forgot, like before, like, so there's so many things I feel like could be explored and done better and really raise a question of like, is this a human or is this a computer? Is this a synth? Which I don't know that we're going to delve into because you still want like some humanity there. But that's like the moment you put a brain inside a supercomputer, that's got to me, there's so many more things to explore besides just like alien. Right. And also like, can I talk to an alien?
And also like copying the memories of a human to an AI that in theory has a absolutely perfect photogenic memory. Yeah. Like, so I assume it just captures the memory as the human remembered them, you know? And then it's like, and then I guess like all the new memories are like completely intact. I don't know, but it's like, you know.
Yeah. And we definitely have to get maybe later on they'll explore this, but like the nature versus nurture conversation that usually happens with these things. Like they didn't get to grow up.
No, they didn't.
There is a sense like of then what does the then are you if something changed that to cause you to your personality to change, right?
Right.
What is the real personality in that sense? Like that's a lot of
Exactly.
interesting stuff. Anyway,
Yeah.
but that's like heady stuff that we don't get into. It's just basically like they're stronger and they
Yeah.
and they
I feel like we have to backtrack to like just on the topic of putting children's memories in human or in adult bodies, and it might be a little bit of a spoiler. Well, it is a spoiler for another movie, but Poor Things. Did you see that?
Sure, and I did not like it.
I didn't like it either.
Yeah,
I'm glad I'm not alone there.
specifically because of that trip. And
I
and I've brought it up in the show before,
yeah.
and I've mentioned it in previous episodes of things, and I'm going to mention it again. The Born Sexy Yesterday trope. If you haven't seen Pop Culture Detective, his video, he goes into a huge video essay about the Born Sexy Yesterday trope, and it has ruined a lot of things for me, including Poor Things, because I hated that. And again, that's where like in a different kind of context, you could explore some of those things, or you might see them being more, I guess, R-rated about this is FX, this is not.
Right,
it's not. We have a lot of blood and gore, but they don't want to delve into like that aspect of it, which I'm glad they spared us from that. Right?
I am too.
I'm glad no one thought about taking advantage of these children or doing whatever, you know.
I feel like
in
we just
certain
don't need
ways.
to go there from a story standpoint. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so. It was just so uncomfortable.
I would still think the kids themselves would be super curious.
Sure.
So I'm like, I don't give me whether you're a boy or girl. Like the moment you have sexual organs that are not what you had before is like, again, that's where I'm saying like the crash course of puberty. I'm like, you just gave them a fully grown adult body, like. They would be fully weirded out by this. I think. Yeah.
I mean, they're still robots.
Yeah.
You know, so there's control over that aspect, which is why I think from a story standpoint, they can just forego that altogether.
Yeah.
But then, there's like that trope. What was that M. Night movie or something? I never saw it, but
I'm not sure familiar with
it's like where they're on a beach.
Oh, old. Yeah. Never saw it.
And like, the kids go from like age 6 to like, 16 and like couple hours or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's different ways. Like doing it, say like I love the trope of kids who grow up and then go back to being kids.
Yeah.
Like say like Jumanji,
or
Narnia or whatever.
Yeah.
It was like those are fun.
Yeah.
But that's different. Like they fully experience, and that would suck to be a kid and have experienced that.
Yeah, it would.
It's a really good skit. I think I can't remember who did it, but there's a really good skit about like these people who came back from the wardrobe. It was like, I had a life. I had like a wife and children.
I had a wife and children.
So that's a whole other like trauma. But I think that is a little bit better than like having to like
that's not the same thing.
Be a kid in a grown up body. Yeah. I would protect our kids. Let's not do that. At least we're dealing with adults, and they are robots-ish, right?
Yeah.
So as you said, so
we
kind of delve into it. We kind of don't, and we do have other human characters that somewhat care about these children, and so there's other characters going on here, and and what's interesting is that it seems that they're all pulling the kids in like different directions, because you have the synth in Kirsch, which is my favorite character of this whole thing, played by Timothy Oliphant. Great actor. I loved his bleached look, and we get a fully synth person, which is, again, this is where we get into the he's clearly based off of the Blade Runner, 100% replicant.
I was like, wow, they're pulling no punches there.
And as we said before, Ridley Scott has said Blade Runner universe and the Alien universe are probably
they coincide.
And unfortunately, I don't think that is actually canon, because we do have very different things that we're dealing with, because the synth is not, because we don't have Blade Runners in this universe,
and also like,
and they take place around the same time,
the time is off. I think it's like 2027 for like the first Blade Runner movie, and then obviously 2049 for the second.
And again, we're gonna have later on, speaking of synths and Weyland-Yutani and universes that aren't canon and not canon, we're getting a Prey sequel, or a Predator sequel from Dan Trachtenberg,
Yeah.
where Elle Fanning plays a
That's right.
a synth, and
Yeah.
it's very basically a Wayland
Have you seen that
thing.
movie yet? Because
That hasn't come out yet.
Oh, it
Oh,
hasn't
the
come
first one, Prey, I have, but the
Prey.
new one hasn't come
Oh,
out.
I
And
thought
that
it
comes
came
out
out
till
already.
November.
Oh, okay. I'm excited for
I'm
that
really
one.
looking forward to it.
I am
I think Dan
too.
Trachtenberg is really great.
Ever since
he's
he-
one of us. He
yeah.
used to be like kind of a show podcaster, internet guy before he
was.
became a director.
Well, yeah, his Portal short film was
yeah.
so good back in the day.
Yeah.
And just to see his career go up.
Yeah.
You know,
I
it's just
mean,
been
if
awesome.
anyone would be able to do, I mean, as much as I'd like the Predator stuff,
Mm-hmm.
he would be perfect for any other kind of like video game
He
kind
would.
of things
Any
that they want to do.
adaptation.
He's really good
Yeah.
at that kind of stuff. I want to see him play in like other worlds and also do his own things, but he's doing a really great job of like playing in like other worlds right now.
Prey was just great. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
I thought in
So-
every way.
Yeah, Prey, they're also dealing with a form of synthetic, but even though Wayland Yutani is the main through line for all of these
Right.
different franchises,
Yeah.
they don't exist in the same universe apparently.
Yeah.
So, which is super interesting. But I love how Noah Hawley is seemingly trying to combine that,
Yeah.
which that makes this more of a Blade Runner-esque show
Right.
than it does an alien thing.
It does, which I'm really enjoying.
Yeah.
Because I love the Blade Runner series.
Yes.
2049 is like one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
So to kind of like see this, you know, common strand or thread or whatever coinciding with the alien universe is just kind of like really fun for me
Yeah.
personally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we have Kirsch, who is fully synth and kind of pulls these kids into a direction of you are not human anymore.
Right.
You know?
Mhm.
And then you have Dame, which is like the mother, so to speak.
Right.
She often uses darling as a what's the word I'm looking for?
Term of endearment.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But the fact that she is usually saying Wendy Darling, which is also the last name of the
Right.
Peter Pan. The Peter Pan analogies go very far.
they
obviously.
go real deep. Like they really hit you over the head with
but
it.
so she ends up being like the quote unquote mother of these, who still is trying to understand their humanity.
Right.
You know? And then you have Boy Genius, Boy Cavalier, wanting to, I guess, fully pull them into like a new higher, like if Mother wants them to stay as the most human as they can, and the synth wants them to be fully synth, he wants them to be a new type of human.
Yeah,
like
he
fully
hybrid.
like applied to like a different thing. So they're getting pulled in all these different directions,
Right.
and they have a question of like, who do we want to be?
Right. Who are we?
by the end of
What
this,
are
you
we?
know?
You know, and you
and-
see them becoming more aware of that as the season goes on.
Well, definitely in the last episode,
Oh,
I think
for
the
sure.
finale, like, I mean,
I think
the finale
they
is titled
embrace-
like the real monsters.
Yeah,
you know, and
right.
So the obvious parallel becomes like, oh, are these hybrids the real ones? You know,
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, we get introduced to a bunch of cool characters. You have anything you want to say about the side characters that we can? And then Morrow, which is a cyborg,
Morrow,
which is an
interesting character.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for Arthur.
Sure.
That poor guy.
I mean, kind
he's
of.
just watching it all go down. I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, of course he's complicit in it, but I don't know. I'm just like, man, he didn't deserve that.
Mhm.
I don't know. And I'm like, on that note, I'm also like, I feel so disappointed that we didn't get to hear from Eyeball. Like, I just wanted.
Which eyeball jockey is what another podcast has been calling them. So I think
Eyeball
we'll go with that.
jockey.
The
I've
eyeball
heard
jockey,
it.
which makes sense. Yeah.
I heard
I
like
think that's
Mr.
online or
Octopus
Reddit.
or something like that. It was another name. I don't know.
Yeah. So we have so as far as like characters go, super interesting like side characters.
I do like the brother, Joe.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Hermit.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Joe Hermit.
like that
which
kid-
ends up becoming like half cyborg by the end.
Yeah, he does.
You know,
Yeah, ish,
a
yeah.
whole lung is like not his
Yeah.
own. you
Ever
know?
since I saw that kid in Black Mirror and then Andor and
Yeah.
stuff, like he's just a solid actor all around. Like,
Yeah.
great actor. yeah, he's just got such range to him. I think he was in some other show on Netflix, like right after Black Mirror too. It escapes me. Some British show or something. I had like one season. He was just solid in that. I think he plays like a psychopathic character. So like you see this like broad range from this kid, you know, or I guess like it should say man, but I don't know. He looks really young. So yeah, just to kind of see how I think Wendy's interactions are with him. And it's like he's like the one thing I think kind of like somewhat keeping her from fully embracing this hybrid synth mentality that she's like more and more embracing. I just don't think things are going to end well for him in season 2.
Yeah, who knows?
I want him to live, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm curious like what his role in all of this is going to be.
Yeah.
I like him as a character, and seems to be the main person we're supposed to empathize with.
I think so. He's the one that's like thrown into all these crazy people, crazy sense, crazy creatures. Like he's like, you know, the straight man. Yeah. Kind of.
But he also doesn't get that much to do besides being a passive observer.
Yeah, his hands are tied.
There are some moments that he has some action where he does push events to a certain direction. You know, the second to last episode, he attacks Nibs, and then his sister kind of turns against him.
Yeah,
you know, and that is a major thing for him to have to struggle with. Like he's dealing with like the loss of his sister almost twice now.
Yeah, I know.
And
yeah,
and then also dealing with what is he's our main observation point, but he just hasn't been able to really have too much necessarily to do. It does affect a lot of things, and I think there's some good stuff coming from him, but not exactly sure what his role in the story is going to be. You know?
Yeah, he's still. I feel like he's just kind of sitting there with his hands tied behind his back, and now he's like, for now, he's like on the good side of the sense, but like for how long? Yeah, you know. So yeah, that's kind of, we'll see.
Yeah. So, and then we got new characters, and then we also get many more monsters.
Yeah, I know.
Many
that was
more
like
aliens.
The best part.
You already mentioned the eyeball jockey. Did you have any other favorite monsters, or did you like them all equally? Or?
I mean, the eyeball is the clear winner for me. Like that little guy is so spooky. Like even the xenomorph is like scared of it. Like when, you know,
the eyeball jockey and the xenomorph seem to have some past history.
They do.
We can't. There's one episode that takes place entirely on the ship, which transported them all here. And when the eyeball jockey finally gets into a human body, it attacks the xenomorph.
Right.
Specifically.
Right.
It seemed like a vendetta.
Yeah. They got some beef there.
So that's an interesting thing to understand. And now the eyeball's in Arthur.
Right.
So, you know, he gets more to do.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see where that goes in season 2. But even when he was in the sheep, I don't know. It was just, that sheep was so unhinged.
The thing is it's creepy, but if anything, because of the fact that like an eyeball taking over a dead body is, and the way that it looks and everything is very, very creepy.
Yeah.
But there's also indications that it might not be dangerous.
Yeah, it might not be, but it just, it's
that
like
that it's actually intelligent.
It's very intelligent. I mean, clearly it knows math because it figured out what pi, and it knows pi. Yeah, that knows more math than I do. Honestly,
it's weird because like if that's true, then like what does it have a civilization, and how does that work? I don't know.
Like what does the civilization of Mr. Eyeball look like?
It's just all other different types of creatures, but with an eye. You know?
And they got their own thing going. Yeah, I mean, that's
If
horrifying.
you get married, if two eyeball jockeys get married, do they encompass both eye sockets? Do they become one in that sense?
That's holy matrimony.
Let's
sharing
just,
the
let's
same
figure out
form.
what the eyeball jockey world is like, as opposed to let's forget the Alien Earth podcast. We're just going to talk about eyeball jockey.
I'm so down with this. We need a
logistics.
spin-off now. I want a spin-off of Mr. Eyeball's universe.
Yeah, who knows? But some very interesting things going on there. I will say, of the monsters, all very, very interesting. I think that flora fauna thing
That was pretty cool.
is more dangerous than a xenomorph.
You could argue that for
I
sure,
mean,
because people think it's just.
I
a
guess we
plant.
haven't shot it yet, so we really don't know if
Yeah.
it's if it can die.
Right.
But as far as we know, like the eyeball jockey and the flora fauna thing, even the flies. Now we're seeing like there's more dangerous things out there than just the.
Yeah. So the was it like those blood sucking things
Yes.
in the first or second episode?
Yeah.
The ticks. Oh, that was disgusting.
Very disgusting, and also we have no idea what happens to them because there's like
don't they
at
just,
least
like,
two
roll
of
away?
them. Yeah, there's like two of them, and we know now that they can just reproduce. And we did not see them in the lab anywhere.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
they're
God.
just. I mean, I hesitate. I hope it's not a plot hole. I hope they're figuring out something about this. I don't know if there's a cleanup crew or
Let's
something
also
about
talk
it.
about the fact that ticks in real life are already
Yeah.
horrifying enough.
But the way but the way those things work, like if those get into like the water supply of new
it's
Siam or whatever,
over.
like that's not great.
That's not great.
So-
Also, I mean, ticks, like when they breed, it's like, isn't it like thousands of babies?
Yeah.
So it's game over if it's any similar
Yeah, Prodigy
biology.
City, so to speak, is probably done.
That's
I would have to say, because they did not try and contain that, and we did not. I mean, we don't know, I guess, if this alien life can fully exist on our world, but most
Yeah,
of
I
them seem
mean-
to have no problem.
so far. Yeah,
So-
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, I love the introduction of like saying like, hey, it's called Alien Earth, but also what if we gave you something else besides Xenomorph?
I
you
know. That's
and
what I'm
now like
liking.
fully delving into the term aliens rather than
Right.
just a xenomorph. you know?
Yeah, because that I feel like you can still only recycle that alone so much. Like you got to have a little more
Yeah.
depth, I think.
I will say,
So-
how do you feel? Because I don't think the alien worked for me
Oh, okay.
for most of the season. I think that there were some practical elements that they really, really tried, but a lot of times it kind of looked like an awkward guy in a suit.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
There was one part in
Yeah.
particular,
Mhm.
and I had seen, maybe it didn't help that I'd seen some meme of, or like behind the scenes picture of,
Yeah.
it was literally just the guy in like his Nikes.
Yeah.
It's just like, so then when I saw it running,
Mhm.
like a few days later in the episode, I'm like, oh, I can really tell that's just a guy in a
Yeah.
xenomorph suit. So it didn't, it fell a little flat there. I feel like in the earlier episodes it worked. I think because here's where it's different, I think, is we've only ever really seen the alien or the xenomorph in like dark environments.
Mhm.
This is the first time he's been out in like broad daylight,
Mhm.
at least to my knowledge, because I didn't see the Predator
Mhm.
spinoffs.
Mhm.
So I think the effect kind of falls flat when he's in a well-lit environment.
Yeah.
You know?
In daylight is very interesting, and he still takes out so many soldiers. There's a lot of cool things, but yeah, the xenomorph. I think the mystery of the xenomorph, even though it's still a very dangerous creature, if it wasn't for all this like foliage around, like it really
Right.
wouldn't be.
It wouldn't be
that scary. It's not that terrifying, and like our guns can kill it. You know.
Yeah.
It can be shot, and it has acid for blood, but that's not a problem. Like when you're not
when
in
you're
space,
not in space.
you know?
That's the
So,
whole reason it's
yeah.
so concerning in space is it's like, oh no, it's going to burn a hole in the ship. Whereas
Yeah.
like if it's on Earth, it's like, well, the sand got it, you know?
Yeah,
So
I think maybe the problem is like I don't see the alien xenomorph as something that would be out in broad daylight to
Mhm.
attack things like straight on. I know it's kind of being controlled or coerced, I would more say, by Wendy to help them out.
That might be the most interesting.
And it does do some sneaky things, but it doesn't seem like it would even want to. It's not very good at being out in daylight. It needs the darkness and corridors and these other things to be able to,
I imagine whatever planet it's originally from, it probably like exists primarily in a darker, wetter, more
we
humid,
have seen
like
it
caverns.
in brighter daylight in Covenant, I remember, but it was like
It was
more
brighter.
cloudy.
It was cloudy.
But, even that, it felt dangerous. You got to see the way it moves and stuff, but I think there's some parts where I think the movement just didn't.
It didn't
work
quite
for
work.
me,
No,
So I think at the end of the day, I like the way it's being utilized. But it's becoming less of a apex predator than I feel like it should be for some reason. There's something weirdly off about it. I'm okay with it a little bit because, again, at least we're introduced to other creatures that show like it's not the only thing out there that we should be scared of.
Right.
And like all the good alien stuff in terms of Alien the franchise, all of the good alien stuff come from the other creatures, I think.
I mean, the face huggers, like horrifying. I think the xenomorph is very much like a secondary like character in this show. The hybrids are by far like the focal point, which I'm totally fine with. And then Wendy's control over the xenomorph, I think, is just an interesting, like unexpected kind of like subplot that I'm curious to see how they utilize in season 2. But I don't know. I don't know where.
And I'm assuming there's going to be a time jump. So she's going to have 2 fully grown xenomorphs because those things don't take long to grow.
No, those things grow quick. So she'll have that little guy.
Yeah, you'll have 2 fully grown ones and like 3 unopened eggs. Probably at least if I'm counting correctly. The ability of like having more of those running around is quite high. This is going to be an island full of xenomorphs. Interesting creatures, interesting characters. We've talked a lot about just in general, just those kinds of things. Do you have, I guess, in terms of the season, favorite moments or favorite episodes that you want to shout out?
Let me think. I think the first couple episodes were still probably my favorite.
Like the premiere episodes?
Yeah. Like the first 2 or 3 episodes where it was just like all this setup. I enjoy a good setup and I enjoy good world building. And I feel like this show did such a good job of that where it's like, oh, wow, there's this whole other continent with this separate company. And then it's like, oh, wow, they're like doing these hybrids and just all this setup. I was super, super into.
Yeah, I think I like the first few episodes as well. In terms of like what I thought we didn't know what the series was going to be. And so it like kind of introduces a lot of different elements going on at once. Which I found very interesting. And what I thought was going to be cool was that it was like, oh, like first this major disaster happens, which the way that they represent that as like a, actual disaster in this, it felt tangible. It felt like, this is not great. Just a ship just crashing into a city is not good. And I love putting like regular humans into that.
I also love that they didn't make the ship like the whole season. Like,
which I thought it was going to be at first.
It's like that it would have been a rehash, I think, of everything we've seen.
That's what I'm saying. It's like at first we're out there and when we're introducing just ideas like, oh, we're going to deal with actual like humans having to deal with and having to contain this thing and that'll be very, very interesting. And all the different elements that we see, we're going to see more of the world. And then it ends up just becoming bring the creatures back to Prodigy Island and they just it's basically just another ship but an island, like it's kind of alien.
It is in a way.
So I will say the first few episodes did really open up something that I thought was like super interesting, and I thought like, it was going to be a different thing.
Also, some like random world building, like Sid the Sloth, like that was unexpected. Like they're like, okay, so Ice Age is like canon, in the Alien universe.
It's just I I'm okay with things like that, except like, why would, I don't know. Did we stop making movies after a certain time?
Yeah,
that, like,
it's
Ice
like,
Age
wow,
is
they're
one?
still watching movies from 2002 and
In the finale,
1950s.
Moreau brings up like, do you know the story of John Henry? And is like in his metal. I'm like, my first thought was like, how old is this story? And like, why is he bringing up something from our time? Like, bring something up from your time that I don't know about.
Unless they just gave up, you know?
And like,
or, like
the
movies
fact
were
that
better
we
back then.
everything always ends up being something. It's
Maybe everything then is AI slop.
the
and so
anachronism.
they just don't want to watch those.
The
anymore.
anachronistic stuff just is kind of like lazy world building to me. It's I don't know the story of John Henry now. Like, why would someone like 100 years in the future ish like know about this? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't know. I guess I guess it's like you could compare it to like a literature enthusiast like really liking literature from like the 1800s. You know, like those stories are still read. Or it's
I
like
guess, but the way
Shakespeare.
that they bring that up, and then again, the Ice Age thing, like these kids, like not only is he like watching, like did he watch Ice Age with his sister as a kid?
He's watching
but
it with,
like when
his
he's
neighbors.
like in like wherever he lives, I guess like the children that of the home that he lives in is also watching Ice Age. So this is like something that like it's not just from his childhood; it's like happening now, and it's like why Ice Age?
It's
like
a classic.
What like do people have that much of affinity for Ice Age now?
No, they don't. That's the thing. Like, I feel like people would be much more likely to watch like Toy Story or something, but it's FX, so you got to work with what you got.
The Power of Ray Romano. I guess I did not realize. Everyone does love Raymond. I don't.
Yeah, no.
So I don't know. There's anachronistic
This is
things
funny.
like this that happens all the time. Again, the whole series is predicated off of this book of Peter Pan too. That Boy Genius is I keep saying Boy Genius, Boy Cavalier.
Same thing.
Is a boy genius, but his name is Boy Cavalier.
Right.
Is obsessed with the Peter Pan mythology
He
and
is.
these kids thing. He's a kid that doesn't want to grow up, basically.
Mhm.
I mean, already immediately you put kids into hybrid things. My question is like, what does Prodigy want? We'll get into that in a second. But again, the Peter Pan thing goes so hard here.
Yeah, I mean, they literally are watching
everyone
like
in
a
the world's like
projected
very, very familiar with it.
version.
Like they've heard the story. He's told the story to them like so many times, and it's just so. Again, it's something I can forgive because Peter Pan is a little bit bigger than Ice Age.
It is, yeah.
But I also like get annoyed when they actually show the Peter Pan footage, and it's obviously from the Disney because it's Disney owned company.
Right.
They're using the Disney cartoon version. I'm like, this is not we have so many different versions of Peter Pan. My favorite one being like the live action 2003 one.
Oh, I love that one.
It's so weird to me that obviously it's iconic for us. It would not be iconic for this group of people. That no one's watching. I don't think the animated version. I think in this world, I
probably not. I don't know.
It's just my opinion. I think that I mean, granted, I guess we haven't had very many like great adaptations since then, but
I mean, I feel like it's still the most
really
iconic,
liked the 2003
but
one.
the 2003 one like I watched that one quite a bit.
It literally was
as
like
well.
one of my favorite movies.
It was good.
I think
I think it's underrated, honestly.
Oh, absolutely.
And Hook was also great too, in my opinion.
Oh, Hook as well. Yeah.
Yeah, like
There's
that's almost as I think at least for millennials, Hook is just as iconic as the animated one.
So
that's Robin Williams.
It's just weird.
Like,
it's so I can forgive the Peter Pan anachronism, but the putting the blatantly like the movie like that thing
I think they're just really going for a vintage
There's a lot
thing.
of different things, a lot of different nostalgia things that I'm just like, what can we like show me the future? Don't stop showing me the past. But yeah, Prodigy, what does Prodigy want? Because what do they do?
Yeah, what
because
do they do?
My thing is like Wayland Yutani, and I have a question.
Yeah.
Is Wayland Yutani the main person that builds synths? Do multiple companies, corporations build synths?
It seems like it. It seems like every company has their own version of a synth. Was my takeaway.
Yeah, because
it's like competition.
Because I was worried about Kirsch for a second there because I didn't know. Like I know that Boy Cavalier made a synth, which spoiler alert, took over for his father,
right?
And is Adam. This entire series was a secret like synth the whole time. Like okay, people saw that coming for a little bit, but beyond him having built that, I don't know if the other companies have their own versions of synths, because at first I was thinking like, oh, Weyland-Yutani, they make the synths. Like that's their whole deal.
Right.
They're the ones that make things and the synths in all the Alien franchises and stuff. And so I was like, oh, so is Kershaw Weyland-Yutani synths? So where are his loyalties at the end of the day?
Right. But then you start to realize there's all this competition. It's like, it's like today's space race with capitalist
so I guess they have their all versions of synths that they're making. Yeah, it sounds like, and this is just his version of that. I'm curious just how he made his billions to become like a new corporation. Right?
Yeah. How did he get from a 6-year-old building a synth to like suddenly this? It's like
because hybrids, as far as I understand, are supposed to be secret.
Yeah.
No one's supposed to know that these things exist.
No.
I would also feel like there's moral implications for even having done it, so he has to keep them secret.
Right.
Granted, morality in this world, I don't know where the line is, but it's just a lot of questions there in terms of how is he able to get the money to make these things? And then also because the hybrids are not making him the money. Prodigy is not a hybrid business.
No, and
so that's where I'm like a little bit confused on like what else does Prodigy do? And I guess who cares, because I don't know exactly what Weyland-Yutani does except make everything.
Right. Well, same with Prodigy apparently, because they own that continent.
Yes, they own a lot of things.
So how did this kid end up owning an entire continent?
It's everything. They do a lot of stuff. I don't know how that happened though. So you would think if he was a genius, if his genius was hybrid theory, how did it get to that point? Like,
so fast.
Because if we only just now made hybrids,
right,
and no one knows about it, then they haven't made him money. So how did this come about? That's just my questions. I don't know what Prodigy does.
I would hope that they answer more of that in season 2.
Yeah,
because it seemed like they kind of like let out that twist at the end of the season with his synth being what's his name, Adam.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of which, I found out an interesting piece of trivia of the crew on the Maginot.
Yeah.
There was I think his name was Chen.
That guy, the creepy guy.
Was creepy guy was what we all assumed was a synth.
But he wasn't.
He was not.
Right.
Yes.
Which is even worse.
So there was no synth on the Maginot.
No, there wasn't.
There was a cyborg, but there was no synth,
like,
which is very, very interesting.
It is. Like, I think they were like trying to have you figure out who the synth was, who was gonna like betray everyone.
Which
then
first
there was
like
no one.
Was a canon crazy thing because it seems like in most of the Alien franchise, people don't even know synths exist.
No,
or they don't know or I guess the synths you would normally be aware of who they are.
Well, yeah.
Like there's an idea of like if you know
it's
what they are, but
when
it's not obvious, like it's bad. Like when they've gotten
like,
more human.
Yeah.
It's right. Am I wrong? Like we're surprised to find the synth on the original Alien. We're surprised in Aliens, but
I think
we know that they exist, but we don't like them. Yeah, as humans, we don't like synths.
Right. Because if you go back to Romulus is I think good for this actually, where what's the kid's name? The
David Johnson.
David, yeah, but his
I know the actress Kaylee Spaney, but I don't remember the name of the character.
The David Johnson's character name.
Yeah, I don't remember the character names at all, but yeah.
Best part of that movie. But like I remember where there's a point where it said that, oh, you're one of the original models, and like everyone
Yes.
knows that he's an old model, even on like the
So
moon
it's the
that they're,
newer
or the
models
asteroid
that are
they're living
scarier
on.
because we don't
Right,
recognize
but
them
like he has a
as.
recognizable face, he's a recognizable model, so
Yes.
like everyone knows what he is.
Mhm.
Versus, yeah, I think there's like probably like there must be like undercover models of some sort that
Yes.
they plant. At least Wayland Yutani plants on these ships to like really maintain control of the mission.
Yeah. I mean, that's the idea behind like why we even were able to be on the lookout for like who's the secret synth, because in this kind of world there's always
Yeah.
probably like a human that's actually secretly that,
Mhm.
right? Which I found interesting that Kirsch was not secret about it,
Right.
you know?
No, yeah, he's just like, I'm what I am, you know?
Yeah.
And so maybe it's like Prodigy has a different cultural approach to synths versus Wayland Yutani. That could be a thing too. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, interesting that the Maginot didn't have any sense, considering Alien was very specifically about like no one knew who was out. And I don't know
Right.
why. I don't remember why canon wise, like why it was important that no one knew or why it was like
Yeah.
scary. But it seemed like if people were going out and doing space missions and they had a sense and they knew about it, which
Right.
we know it has happened. We know that happens on Prometheus.
Yeah.
We know that happens with the Covenant. And again with Romulus. So it's really I guess it really is kind of interesting now, like what the problem was in the original
Right.
Alien, like why that was like so secret. Because now it's like
Yeah.
this doesn't seem like a secret thing, but maybe I'm like getting my
I think-
canon confused.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, it's I think there were a lot of like vague everything in Alien was just kept really vague
Mhm.
for a lot of reasons. It's like the mystery of it was kind of to keep you trying to figure things out.
Mhm.
So I think, you know, like what the
But it's important that the characters also didn't know, you know?
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
and you were really in the character's shoes, I think, especially, you know, Ripley's shoes for a lot of that movie, where you're like, you don't know what what's his name's motives were.
Mhm.
And same with like the jockey on when they went to LV-426. It's like they just don't explain it. They leave it up to the mystery of it. So there's like, I think it's like the opposite of doing the world building there, where it's like
Yeah.
it's better in the dark. It's more mysterious.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's my assumption
Mhm.
there, at least for the original movie.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, so I don't know where we're going with that. We were just talking about like what the fuck does Prodigy do?
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully we'll delve more into that, because I'd be super curious about like
Right.
that world.
Mhm.
Seems like Wayland or Yutani version. Wayland's going to be dead at this point, because I think Prometheus takes place around or before some of this stuff.
Yeah, it's like 20. Is it like 2077?
I
Or
don't
like 2177? It's like
Yeah.
it's much farther before. It's years and years.
And I believe that Wayland part of it, played by Guy Pearce, like went off and he died, right?
Yeah,
So,
he died.
Unless there's a synth version of him going around somewhere, it's just Yutani. But
Yeah.
Yutani is now running the company, and she, which again, didn't even delve into. My favorite kind of stuff is like the time dilation stuff, where the fact that like
Yeah, that's
Morrow
interesting.
has been alive for like a while. He knew Yutani's grandmother when he
Right.
first left like 65 years ago, and now he
Right.
came back and finds a new Yutani.
I know. It's just a family affair.
Yeah. But I love that kind of stuff. But yeah, she's also going to the island for some reason. Like, send
Yeah.
your soldiers, but why are you here?
Yeah, you really wanna risk that?
Like a very dangerous spot. But
Yeah.
you know, I guess
She
she
doesn't
gets her
care.
hands dirty. So
Yeah.
maybe we don't see what happens. So we'll figure out what happens on season 2.
Respect to her for that.
So I hope we delve more into like what the corporations do and how those
Right.
things work as we get into this thing, and maybe we'll get off the island and bring these synths somewhere.
Yeah,
but-
I want to see something else other than the island at
Yeah.
this point. I want it to go more into the city again, I think is what I'm feeling.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, budget constraints can usually probably be a thing. So
yeah.
they did well with what they had. I mean,
They
these
did.
seemed like real sets too. A lot of the stuff was. I mean, they made that ship crashing feel
That was
all
great.
real.
Yeah.
And being part of the building. I don't know how they did a lot of that. I know that there's something about an abandoned mall they used or some abandoned thing. Yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff.
Backtracking way back to that one of the first episodes, but that whatever that party was that the alien destroyed.
Oh yeah.
Like that was just like how does a ship crash into your building and you just keep going about your weird day?
Rich people, man. I
Rich
don't know.
people. They just really don't think the rest of the
They got priorities.
world applies to them.
Yeah. So yeah. Any other favorite moments, things you did not like that we should talk about? I feel like we'll get to the finale stuff.
The flashback episode, I guess it did feel a little, it just felt like Alien rehashed maybe a little bit. I understand why they wanted to show it, but I did kind of feel like they could have left that episode like unexplained. I don't know.
It's weird because I was like, I loved not doing it.
Yeah, I did too.
Right?
Like the intro was
when
enough.
they first started and they I'm like, great. So Alien happened and then they crashed.
Right.
That's got it.
all we need to know.
It seemed to only be like more for backstory for Moreau's character, and we don't
That's
get
what
much
it
of him
was.
later on. And it seems
Yeah.
like they shot a lot more. Like that probably could have been a movie on its own
It could have.
to really delve into that crew. But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, we know what happens. I did like it on its own.
Yeah, it was still cool.
I don't like it in
just-
context of the season. Do you know? Like, I there's a lot of cool stuff happening in it, and I love the backstory of Moreau, and I love the other characters that are going on there. But in the context of the season, it kind of feels like useless. But I guess for the people that love Alien, it's a great episode for revisiting that
It
again.
is.
You
Yeah,
know, the same
I
people who
mean-
loved Alien Romulus, I'm sure, would also like that episode.
Sure.
So.
Again, it was very nostalgic in a lot of ways, but yeah, it did feel like oh, we're seeing this yet again.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But
We
then
got to understand a little bit of the other creatures.
That's what I did like.
Yeah.
Like seeing the eye attack the alien was kind of a highlight
Yeah.
of that episode. So there were some good moments where it's like, oh, there's scarier things out there and loose in this tight space that are scarier than the alien.
One thing I haven't said yet, and I meant to bring up way earlier, was what I love about this show and what Noah Hawley is doing is that, and it's specifically and also in that episode, it happens like throughout. There's like small moments here and there. It seems that Noah Hawley is not afraid of the rule of cool. Like when something cool can happen, when you can have a character do something really cool, or being like whether it's a cool shot or a cool moment or like a badass kind of thing. I think in the finale is a really good moments with Wendy when she like snaps and the door opens. She's like, "What's the story?" And then when she tells him to like run, you know, it's like it's just cool. It's just characters being cool.
Right.
Moreau gets a lot of the cool shit.
He
Like
does.
the moment of like him being stuck talking to Mother, not talking to anyone else. This girl, what's her
Bashing
name?
the
Trying to
window,
like trying to like get into the door, and he just like welds it shut. He's like, "Mother, I need the like the whatever the crash the thing open." So he gets into that thing and like no flinching as the alien busts in and then like drools on him, and he just like lets it happen and the door closes.
Yeah.
Cool shit.
Yeah,
He just
and
does cool shit
he does.
over and over and over again. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's what I want. I was like,
Right.
if you're gonna give me sci-fi that's like also like, this is the thing that I had a criticism about Foundation season 3. I was like, at the end of the day, don't be afraid to have fun. Just do cool shit. Like if we're talking about heady stuff, we're talking about hybrids and children being like in the minds of adults and all this like weird like the nature of like humanity and these kind of things. And then also like, hey, there's a cyborg with a cool like arm that can like turn into a sword, like let him do like a cool thing with it. I'm like, yes, do it.
Also, the fact that they like like put the restraint over his metal arm.
Yeah.
Like, did you not? How is that going to stop him from bashing someone's head in?
And again, speaking of the rule of cool, absolutely anything Timothy Oliphant does, is already
all
cool.
Great.
And it just like like the way he delivers stuff is it's just so cool.
Yeah.
Just allow people to be cool.
Right.
Allow these that's what I love about what Noah Hawley's doing.
Yeah.
With this show, is he's allowing us to delve into like deeper questions, but then also like having fun with it.
Yeah,
you know,
he is.
Including, I think the cinematography is really cool.
Always is in his stuff. Yeah,
yeah. I think that one of the things I think he would be really good at, and I haven't seen Fargo, haven't seen Legion. This is like really my only experience with Noah Hawley, but based on like what he is dealing with and what these hybrids are doing specifically, there's a little bit of an Akira vibe going on here. And I would really love to see him, whether it's Akira or some other anime adaptation. There's some good stuff that I think he would be really, really good at.
I think see that.
We have trouble finding directors that can really understand and do anime well and live action. And whatever he's shown me here shows me that he can, I think, really handle that if given the opportunity.
He probably could.
Because even like the tone of this, some of the stuff that happens in here, it's very anime-esque. And again, the Akira vibes of these like children, they're not telekinetic, but these children in synth bodies and hybrid bodies, and the trauma / questions that are going on there, this could be some really interesting stuff there.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
And so I'm putting it out there. If Noah Hawley wants to do Akira, I think that would be my choice if I could do anything.
You know,
I think
if they do want to commit to that, he'd probably be the guy for the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, some fun stuff there from Noah. Rule of cool. Really enjoying it. Do you want to talk about finale stuff? I mean, the series wraps up with interestingly, we watched it together. We were both unsure of who would survive.
Yeah.
And almost everyone does.
I was shocked. I really...
Except for poor Arthur, but you know. And one kid, Isaac.
I know that. I didn't see
gone,
that coming either.
But not gone. They did raise the idea of possibly bringing him back. I hope they do, because that will be a very, very interesting... Is it him? Is it not him?
Right.
What happens more to your brain if that, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I would be surprised if they didn't back up all these kids. Like,
yeah.
You know?
Well, I'm surprised there weren't any fucking fail safes. Because I think typically with the synths, there's some sort of fail safe where you can't, I mean, like robot rules typically are, I cannot harm my creator. And already like they didn't build in some they didn't build in some sort of failsafe for Boy Cavalier.
No, right.
He's like, oh yeah, if they turn on me, we're screwed.
Right.
You know?
No. They really were trusting that these kids would be controllable. And look how that turned out.
Yeah. At the end of the day, they are still kids.
Yeah.
Doing this thing, and I have to wonder, what does a kid want? You know, are they villains? I guess it depends on how much you believe that they're children or not. Like, I don't think children are evil. They're typically told like what to do.
Right.
And that's where I'm like, okay, how adultish are they behaving here? I don't know. There's a lot of things like, and again, cool stuff when they go and round everyone up and do their thing and kind of embrace their hybrid sensibilities.
Right.
Great stuff from Sydney Chandler.
Yeah.
Playing Wendy in terms of this character. I mean, she was just kind of great overall. I think the least childish out of all of them.
She definitely is. I think she's also the oldest.
She was the oldest, you know, but I would still think that there would be some childish tendencies, but I think she's still written as like the most adult.
She is by far.
And acted as the most adult. And so I'm not seeing the child again there. That said, Sydney did a great job. If it was just her age, I would be for it. The fact that it's still supposed to be like a 12 or 13-year-old is still kind of like, but whatever. That aside, Sydney does a great job of leading this group of
She
synths
does.
and diving these questions. I'm more interested in what's going on with Curly, I think.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of plot development for season 2 there.
Yeah. Nibs is fascinating. I love Nibs's turns. I love the
Unhinged.
craziness, the unhinged, and I love that she's, in a sense, almost embracing the fact that like I am not human anymore.
Yeah, she really is. She's like, screw it, I'm just what I am.
And
you know?
that is gonna be very fascinating because
Yeah.
that's like your right hand woman. For Wendy, that's the person you're gonna want on your side.
I think she's trusting Nibs as kind of like a brute force.
Yeah.
More than anybody. To just kind of do her dirty work.
Yeah.
So
some cool stuff that happens when they like round up these people. But again, at the end of the day, it's like, well, what do you do? What's the goal?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to take over Prodigy. Like, do you just want to leave? Then just leave.
Yeah.
And just go. Like, what do they want
What do they
here?
want? Yeah.
And so that's where I'm like, what are we going to do? That's a question for season 2, which is a clear cliffhanger that's being set up.
I know. I did not
which is so surprising.
see that cliffhanger coming.
Yeah.
Like it still felt like we had 2 episodes left at least. And
Probably could have done more. To be
They
fair,
could've.
as much as I love the vibe of Alien Earth, there were a lot of very long, very slow shots that
There
were
were.
done there. Even this
Which is
finale
very Alien.
This finale, I think, was only like 48
It's pretty
minutes or whatever.
short,
Like
yeah.
it felt longer.
Yeah.
And they did a lot with it, but there was clearly some space.
There
You clearly
was,
had some time.
yeah.
You could have, if we're gonna. I love the style that you're going for here, and I love these lingering moments. But if you have the time to do that, then just give us more. You know, it felt like we could have had more time.
We
to figure
probably
some
could
things
have.
out, you know?
Yeah.
But who knows? Who knows where these conversations happen or what happened? But yeah, and again, 2 big aliens there.
Yep.
I'm sad that Kirsch seems to be broken.
I know.
Maybe he'll be able to like
Not for
repair
long.
himself or something, because I'm surprised that they locked him up.
I am too. Yeah, I didn't see that coming. They really don't trust
Again,
anybody.
the idea that like there's something about him that is off. He allows one of them to essentially die. He doesn't really protect them as children. He kind of
He sees
on
Arthur,
their side, but he wants them to he wants them to embrace more of their synthetic side of
Yeah.
it, but he's also in a sense saying like he's in control.
Right.
I don't know what he did to Wendy, I guess, or the other children that they wouldn't like him. Like he helped.
Yeah, he helped them
so
a
to
lot.
speak. But I think it's the fact that like he had knowledge and never acted on their behalf.
Yeah,
So I guess
that
that's the
too.
only thing you could say.
Yeah, and it's
was
like
a
he's
problem.
still like a ambiguous character, and you don't know
Yeah.
what his motives are.
But you
like
would think
the
that he
fact
would be someone that would be on your side.
You
So
would
I'm so
think.
confused. And even
Yeah.
Moreau, now that they've all turned against Boy Cavalier and Dame and what they did to them as children, and are coming to terms with that, what exactly did Moreau do to you? Except for, I guess, be a threat, but he really wasn't against the children at all. I don't know.
Well,
So-
I guess he still works for Yutani, so they really
True.
don't trust him either, and he is still mostly human. So
yeah.
I think the only reason that Joe is getting a pass is because he's a blood relative for the moment.
Yes.
We'll see how long that lasts. I don't know.
Because even the other children are like, why do your family? Maybe we'll get more family members now because they're in control.
Yeah, maybe they're still.
They
It
can-
seems like all the kids still have love for their family.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean,
so,
Curly's embraced her name, Jane.
Yeah.
And she wants she'll probably want to contact part of her family.
Yeah, and then Arush or Slightly is his is Slightly his name, like his given So like I mean clearly he's very attached to his brothers and his mom. So I think we'll still see some kind of maybe outward contact. And while these kids, because I don't even think they actually know what matters to them. They're just like, it's very like Lord of the Flies at the moment, where they're just like, we want to rule
does feel
the
like
island.
this is something that I want for the for the hybrids. Like I want for them to like be in control, fully understand like who they are, that kind of thing. Even like when we get the second episode, and I mean, there was kind of a cool moment where she gets that like blade from the paper cutter and like puts and she we don't get any more of that, which is annoying. I know. I would like to see the payoff there was not great, but again, cool stuff.
Yeah, cool stuff.
Right? And this is what I want. But second episode, that stuff happens where they kind of like mobilize, and I'm like, this is something that I'm interested in exploring with the hybrids. If this was 50 to 100 years from now, because they are immortal, them embracing that and becoming like this crack team of individuals that like knows exactly who they are and like what they're capable of and they're half human, half not kind of thing, I find super fascinating and would be a really cool series, but feels too soon in their development to have happened, right? And it seems like this was kind of where we're there, but they're trying to embrace that. And I like it. The trauma still isn't, I still feel like there's a lot of trauma that would be happening here and we're kind of glazing over it. But again, there's still clearly a setup for a season 2 where they can delve into that more. I just wonder if like this turn kind of happened too quickly. You know, in my personal opinion, I'm fine with it because sure, why don't like get there sooner? Why not? But but I do think that my personal opinion is like it would not happen as quickly just from a writing perspective.
It would be cool to see some kind of time jump, you know, between maybe like season 2 and 3. You know, even like a short one, like 10 or 20 years.
I would say that that's possible if it wasn't for the Yutani presence being shown right there.
True.
Now, for all we know, Yutani shows up, makes a deal with them, and then bring them all back, and then the hybrids are working for Yutani, and maybe everyone else is still in a Yutani jail. I feel like a lot of the other corporations would have questions like what's going on with Boy Cavalier at that point and Prodigy. So maybe not. I don't think they can have a huge time jump because of like their presence there. It's like there are major consequences that have to happen for what was set up in the finale.
Yeah.
So
we all saw how that went for Westworld.
Yeah. That's the thing is I like the ideas of what's going on there and like where these hybrids could go. It's just I guess my thing is I don't want things to move too fast. If we're going to deal with these questions, like let's deal with it. You know? Let's really deal with the consequences.
It can get rushed. And,
you know, so the turn kind of came out of nowhere. Even though I love it, it kind of happened fairly quickly, you know? Is it our understanding, is it Wendy the only one that has a supercomputer?
Yeah, that's what it seems like. And if the others do, they haven't realized. Because the others don't
seem to have any ability to control any computers or hack into things.
You would think they all have the same hardware, but for whatever reason, she's the only one utilizing it.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I'm not sure if that's because she's different.
I heard somewhere that she was different, that she was the only one built with that supercomputer brain, but the others are clearly have the strength and the ability. I wonder why like Wendy specifically was able to do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But yeah, again, great fun moment of stopping a synth too.
Yeah,
you know, in
that was
tracks.
pretty cool.
It was really cool. That ability seems like if they all have that ability, that's going to be they're unstoppable. Yeah,
like, you really
again. What do they want? I don't know.
I don't think they know what they want.
I don't. Well, they're children. They shouldn't know.
Yeah.
They really shouldn't know. The fact that they even got this far is like, what are you doing here? And it's a little bit more than a tantrum too.
Yeah.
This is like calculated. You know, when Nibs goes on a tantrum and like screws up and like pulls a jaw out of a soldier's mouth, like that's like okay. I get that can happen. You don't understand your strength. Right. That said, the fact that some of these synths like resort to like the hybrids resort to violent tendencies, if you really are children, I don't agree that children would resort to violence like immediately.
Not like that. You know? No. That's where it's like
they would be worried about hurting someone.
They would, and they'd also be traumatized.
Yes.
They'd be like, "Oh God, what?"
Yeah.
I think the only one that kind of had that reaction was slightly to Arthur dying.
Yeah.
Like those two are probably the most, I think, childlike remaining of the bunch, where I do
slightly
feel
into me.
Yeah, I feel like they're more intact with their human side than the rest of them by far.
Which I guess makes sort of sense if we're getting into like gender specific, like the 3 females are the ones growing up faster than the 2 boys.
Yeah, they are. Because Smee was the one that like really, really freaked out when Arthur died.
Yeah.
And he was like trying to save him. And it's like, you're not gonna hold that guy together.
Yeah. So real interesting stuff there. We'll see if they can, if the children grow up or if they'll remain Lost Boys, I guess.
I think there might be a
if there's going to
split
be a
eventually.
season 2. Yeah.
I think they're gonna end up on sides, is my assumption.
Mhm.
Where some will remain more human and then some will fully embrace their synth side.
Mhm.
That's my prediction.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you'd have to do one or the other.
Yeah.
Or will they embrace exactly what Boy Cavalier wants?
Yeah.
Is Boy genius? Is he a genius or is he super stupid? Because I have no idea. I also I'm sure. My assumption was that the moment this is successful,
right?
Does he want to put his brain in a body?
That's what. Well, I mean,
are we ever going to get there? Is he going to do that?
Wants to,
yeah.
But more important, like he said, he's like, I just want to have a conversation that doesn't bore me. But I think he also wants immortality at some point too. And I think, I mean, he's literally kind of like Anakin Skywalker, where he's just like, he built this robot at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
He's highly intelligent, but he also is like emotionally impulsive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a terrible combo because that's going to lead to disaster, which here we are.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I guess I could buy Boy Cavalier wanting to have a conversation and that being like, I think there's other motives there, but if it was just an intelligent conversation, that'd be one thing, but then we would have to see some intelligence from the kids. And that's again where a question of like, how do you play this?
Yeah.
Do these kids know what's going on, or are they actually tapping into like, can they tap into their full brain power? Can they tap into their memories? Can they really like expand and grow beyond that? Because if this is a natural evolution of, can we not only have possibly immortality, which they're not immortal, they can die pretty easily. Apparently.
They can. Yeah.
But, and again, we don't know, does a backup work? We don't know.
We don't.
Right? Because you only have one brain. Right? And can you upload consciousness? That's not, who knows, right?
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of questions there, but also the understanding that this might possibly lead us to being able to go to other galaxies and all that kind of stuff, because we're able to explore other concepts that a synth can't do as a computer, or a computer can't do on its own, because you need human input.
Right.
So I get that. And I get that's what Boy Cavalier essentially wants.
Yeah. He wants that combination of like super intelligence mixed with human basis.
But we're not seeing that. We haven't seen the intelligence be not heightened yet.
No.
Right? We haven't seen anything with the actual brain has not changed for these children.
They need to mature.
And what does maturity look like when you're in a synth body?
Yeah,
right?
when you don't have those, like they were like, oh, we'll do hormone simulations and things like that. But like that takes time, and does it actually work as well as actual hormones? I
love this idea.
Yeah.
We're stuck in an alien universe where we have to deal with aliens and xenomorphs and that kind of thing. Whereas like, I would love, it feels like a wholly different show than what was probably promised and what most people wanted.
Yeah, it's not what I expected.
Who knows how many seasons we'll get of this kind of stuff. I love it. But there's a lot of back and forth between like, we should be just like fully just diving into like hybrid stuff and like leave the xenomorph stuff. But now we have like this Lost Boy-esque, like we control the island, and we have these pet xenomorphs on our side, and which is not the direction that anyone wants it to go. I assume that Boy Cavalier is eventually going to get fed up with it and put his own brain into like a synth body. If he survives that long, if the eye jockey doesn't get him first, who knows?
The other thing,
what does the eye jockey want still? We don't know. At the end of this, what's very interesting is I have no idea what anyone wants, despite the fact that we had a cool journey. At the end of the season, I just don't know what anyone wants.
No, I don't think anyone knows what they want.
You know, I think Yutani wants normally to
she's
get
the one
there.
with clear motives here.
You know,
yeah, she's like, my ship landed in your domain. I just want my stuff back.
That's the part where I'm like, boy, Cavalier, for being such a genius, has done just some stupid shit.
Yeah,
because at this point, whatever you did, you're playing in like the big boy pool.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
Yutani's coming in here and they're going to be much stronger.
That's the thing is
ability.
That's also like a family legacy there. It's like you have Yutani, who's been probably brought up since she was a child, being trained for this role, leading this corporation. Whereas like Boy Cavalier just like happened into it because of his ego. So that's quite the contrast. Like I think Yutani's a very well-rounded, intelligent character in person, and then you have Boy Cavalier, who's just he's just getting himself into trouble constantly.
Yeah,
because he thinks he's smarter than he actually is. I mean, even like his playing around with Mr. Eyeball, like that's why he wants to put it in a human too.
And the thing is like while Boy Cavalier is trying to figure out hybrids,
right?
Yutani has figured out a cyborg.
Yeah.
And as far as I understand it, Moro's arm is cyborgish, but like, is it also part of his brain or part of his like, because he's able to.
It's never like specified how much of him is actually cyborg. I don't think.
But my thing is like, well, if Yutani has figured that out with one person,
how many more people are there?
Where are the other cyborgs?
Yeah, yeah.
Because one Moro has been already hell on the rest of our characters,
right?
Like, and dealt with
exactly
so many different things. And if there's more than one of them out there, and if that's the thing, it's like we've only seen like one part of this whole side of everything,
right?
And Yutani coming in here, and now like bringing in soldiers is one thing,
right?
I have to imagine there's got to be another cyborg.
There has
roaming
to be
around. There's no way you only have one.
No. And even like Moro said too, he was saying to Joe, he's like, once you start getting this stuff in you, he's like, it comes with a price or something along those lines. So it's like, I feel like that's his personal experience, but I feel like there's probably other people that they just have like completely tied down to and loyal to them because they have these parts keeping them alive.
Yeah. I really hope we go full Blade Runner and full Cyberpunk.
I do too.
In this stuff.
I want to see more.
Because there's going to be cool stuff. Yeah. So I want to count out Yutani. I want to count out any of those kind of things. And the fact that our characters are the still, despite everything, are in a place of like loss and confusion and like no clear direction of where to go from here.
Right.
And the only one with a clear motive and understanding is the one that started it all of saying like, just bring back these creatures and you took them from us. And that I would not count them out for this kind of thing. No. But yeah, I guess that's like mostly like Alien Earth.
Yeah, that's kind
the majority
of it in a nutshell.
Yeah.
So
it just sounds like I really enjoyed the season. I have a lot of questions and a lot of, qualms with different ways, but that's, as a person who loves to talk about sci-fi and loves world building, these are also kind of things where I'm like, no one ever gets these things right. So no. I have to suspend my disbelief and just allow it to happen. But I still love talking about it, and I would like to answer these questions,
Yeah,
so,
same. Yeah.
But other than that, I was like, for an alien thing, which is not very alien-esque, some cool alien moments, but other than that, it's weird calling it Alien Earth now. It
does feel like that. It feels like it's very much its own thing, which I think is still welcome because again, I think if they were just rehashing yet another like, alien on a ship, it would just feel like, what's the point of making this? Whereas this really expands the world building and dives more into the Wayland Yutani corporation and what they do.
Mhm.
And I think that's a lot more interesting,
Mhm.
at least for a series.
Yeah.
So
One of the things we started doing was, I guess we'll do it for the series because we can't do it like per episode. Do you have for codependent content a crush of the season?
a crush of the season? No, I don't know.
This is basically who won the season, who's your favorite character, who's
Favorite
the best,
character?
like, kind of thing.
Who
We
would
just
be
call
my
it a
favorite
crush
character?
here. Who are you crushing on the most on codependent content?
I don't know. I mean, as far as favorite characters go, I think it would probably be Joe or Kirsch. I think like those are two pretty cool
Yeah.
characters. I don't know.
I would think Joe's a good choice for maybe crush of the season because he at least has this kind of arc
Right.
of things, that is going on, and then also dealing with like a lot of stuff that we as,
it was
like,
just he's such a human
Yeah.
character, and I like that when everyone else is like so morally inept. It's like he's kind of like the moral compass of the show, but also I don't know, Mr. Eyeball's pretty cool.
there you go. Eyeball jockey.
Yeah. I don't know.
Secret crush of the episode.
Yeah,
or
he's
crush
just such a
of the
cool little
season.
guy.
Yeah, I think it's hard for me to understand personally, like, who won? I guess the eyeball could kind of win the season.
He did.
Like
he stole the show for me.
She. I don't know.
Technically, the one scientist on the ship does say, "Oh, she's loose." So I guess
that's true.
I guess
We
Mr.
always-
Eyeball is actually a she, but
who knows?
I don't know. Yeah, I was talking to my best friend because she's been following the show too, and I did my podcast with her, and we were talking. She's like, "Mr. Eyeball was my favorite too."
Yeah.
And she's like, "I actually screamed out loud when he got hit by Wendy the second time." And she's like, "I jumped out of my seat and said no." So
listen, I think that's acceptable as a intelligent character on the show that achieves its goals.
I mean, think about it. What did he do to deserve any of this?
Seriously,
other than just get caught, and now he's like all these.
I mean, it did
creatures.
Sabotage a few humans too.
He did,
yeah.
But I mean, from his perspective, all these hairless creatures just took him and are like holding him in a glass cage.
These really stupid humans that don't understand like what they're dealing with. Just,
I know.
I can accept that as like a crush of the season. I think like, man, I bounce back and forth between like some of the children, like Nibs, Curly, and Wendy are all really fascinating.
Wendy is such a cool character too.
Such fascinating characters. If it wasn't for the fact that like Wendy doesn't really ever deal with the things that she's should be dealing with, that I don't know exactly like what she wants there and what these characters want and do they achieve it. Like it's hard to give them. Kirsch is also like a really cool character.
Yeah.
But I don't know that he ever gets. He's just a synth. Like we never understand. Like he doesn't have like an arc or anything.
No, not yet. Anyway, I really want to know more about his past.
So yeah, Rule of Cool is for him, but I think Moreau would have to be my crush of the season. Like he's like
a good character.
The secret, like just like the jockey. Like you don't really know like how important he is going to be to the story, but he finds himself like in the middle of like all this stuff,
Yeah,
and he does like fascinating things to survive, to get what he wants. When they come, like when he shows up on the island, I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Like the way that they come out of the water and stuff. I'm like, I'm actually more excited when he's on screen doing something than like any of the children.
He's pretty badass.
Like I want to see where he's at and what's going on there. I'm fascinated where his story is going to go and what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I'd have to give him like my main crush of the season.
Like I want to know what motivates him.
Yeah.
Because it seems like he's got some traumatic past, and I want to know if it's like.
Well, I think just losing his family. I think which to be fair, they're not lost. It's just been, as far as we understand it, like at least 60 years for him since maybe he's seen his daughter. So,
where is she?
The family could still be around.
They could
still be alive. The chances of them still being alive, but he owes his life now to Wayland Yutani, and I think his embracing of his role, his embracing of the cyborg nature of himself, of everything that he says is just so fascinating.
Yeah,
like when he talks about like, isn't it like like you feel it, like you want to be, you
Right.
want this. It's like
Yeah.
addicting, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff is so interesting. So his inner motivations, like I understand, like the trauma, I don't think is even that big of a deal for him at like a big part of his history. Like he's kind of been beyond that. He's like, you know what? That's my past, and I've moved on from that. And it's more of like he's dealing with what it means to be fully cyborg, you know, to be a different type of human. Yeah, he's kind of embracing his role as something other than human, as well as a tool. Like he understands his role in the Utani universe, and I like that. I like that he, in that way, kind of fully realized.
Right.
Has just interesting relationships with these children as well. Do you think he killed Arush's family?
No, I don't.
You think he told the truth when he said, "I didn't harm your mother"?
Yeah, I think he probably told the truth.
I think I'm not fully convinced that he told the truth, because
I guess we'll see.
I don't think there was ever a time where that hybrid for him, whenever he was using Slightly, I don't think he ever expected Slightly to survive. He was never getting off the island. He was never, granted, he never had to threaten. He just had to kind of threaten and be there. So it's possible it could have gone either or, but at a certain point, like he could have said, well, I'm done with the family. I don't need them anymore, and kill them. Or he could have said, like, I'm done with them, and then left them alone and just never meant to harm them.
Yeah.
But so I'm not exactly sure his motivations, but the thing is like Schrodinger's cat is very much there with him. I don't know that you can trust anything that he says.
Yeah, you really can't.
You know?
I don't know.
Or was that a time where he was just, in order to stay alive, say what he needed to say?
Yeah.
So that kind of thing, that moral ambiguity as well when it comes to him, is also what fascinates me about like where he is and why I'm like, I don't know
he's
what you are, but I also feel like I do know who you are, but I'm not exactly sure, which is why I like him as a character. And the actor's just doing such a tremendous job.
He is.
So.
Yeah. I think my take on him was like, he's trying to be more like cyborg mentally than he really is. I think he's more human than he wants to admit.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of my take on it. So that's why I think maybe the family lived, because I think he still takes some amount of pity on the hybrids because they are children.
Yeah, probably. So. Well, yeah, who knows? I'm unsure yet, right?
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I don't know.
We will see. I hope we see him and Kirsch do some more battles too, because those are interesting conversations.
They're setting up
for sure.
They're setting up for more conflict.
Because it does seem like he doesn't. He's like, I'm not you.
Right.
I'm also still human. Like I'm not a synth. And it seems like that he, as much as he's embracing his cyborg nature of it, he doesn't want to believe that he's like a synthetic, you know?
Right. That's where I'm like, he still has this humanity.
That'll be fun. That'll be interesting.
Yeah. And I think that's why he takes like some amount of, I think, pity on the kids too. Because I think he kind of sees maybe himself in them. That's my 2 cents on that. But we'll find out more.
I guess we shall see. If I haven't heard if it's gotten renewed for a second season. I think the verdict's still out, but possibly.
I heard, the most viewed show online.
I'm sure. Yeah, I believe that.
Of like this month or whatever. So
we'll see. We'll see how well, if I do any clips, we'll see how well those do on the internet. But if you have any thoughts or questions or things, or what you thought about the season in general, or your favorite things, we tried to cover a whole lot within like 2 hours. It was hard to do a deep dive.
It is. And
talk in general. And I'm sure there's very much more we could have gotten into. You can always comment, email us, do whatever. It's all there. Find us and tell us like what you thought about Alien Earth. I'd be interested to see about that. Vic, is there any way that anything you want to plug in terms of where people can find or interact with you?
I mean, just my main page is Victus Visuals. I mean, I haven't done my podcast stuff in quite a while.
But you said you recorded a podcast for Alien Earth, or?
No.
You were just saying you were talking, the person you did the podcast with.
Yeah,
was, you were talking to.
yeah. Me and my best friend Katie.
Okay, but y'all didn't record a
Bros and
podcast.
Cons.
Yeah.
We did one on The Last of Us season 1 a few years ago, and we've been meaning to do more. It's just life is busy, and she's in another state, so when we do it, it's through Zoom. But yeah, you can find some of our old clips on Bros and Cons, or just what I'm doing these days as a filmmaker, photographer on my Instagram, Victus Visuals. So yeah, that's about it.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining me for this conversation, this recap of Alien Earth. A little bit of a different episode. Like I said before, it's really hard to keep our thoughts contained because there's so much happens, so much to talk about, and so much we probably missed. But we tried to get through it. I hope you guys enjoyed that. We did expect we were going to have like 2 more weeks to prepare too.
We did. I was like, wait.
But I was like, 8 episodes is all
I was like, that's this weekend.
But I guess it is what it is. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you guys for watching this episode, if you do. And well, we'll see you probably next time with Pluribus and Apple TV.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
And that'll be back to our regularly scheduled kind of like deep dive. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm also in the middle of moving and trying to figure out where I want to be and what's going to happen. And there's a lot of moving parts. Yeah. So we'll see how that works. But until then, until I see you again, see y'all later.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to Codependent Content. For updates, you can follow us on social media. And if you ever want to see a video version of this podcast, feel free to check us out on YouTube or Spotify. If you have any questions or simply want to tell us about something we missed, you can email us at codependentcontent@gmail.com, or just leave a comment on TikTok and we'll get back to you. Links to all our accounts, where to contact us, or other ways to support will be in the description or show notes. We're glad you're here and working through your traumas with us. Remember, when you're lost in the darkness, search for the light. Live long and prosper, and may the force be with you. Until the next session, cowabunga, dudes.